the New Universal Library, Baggymon's role, valuation roll of Scottish church lands, compiled by Baggymon by order of Pope Gregory X, 1271, 6, after the Council of Lyons, 1274, had ordered the collection of tithes from such lands for 6 years for the relief of the Holy Land. The Scots resented this increased valuation but failed to induce the Pope to content himself with an older and later valuation. Bagnes, name given to certain French prisons where convicts were sent after 1748, when the Navy ceased to use galleys. The word comes from the Italian bagno, a bath, because in Constantinople public baths had been made into a prison. But during the 17th century and the first half of the 18th century, long-term convicts were condemned to row the galleys. After 1748, they were made to work in harbors with their feet fettered and were lodged in bagnes they had built for themselves in the seaports of Toulon, Rochefort, Brest, and Lorient. The Penal Code of 1810 made their lot even worse. They were tied 2 by 2 with balls and chains on their ankles and compelled to do the rawest work. Louis Philippe in 1830 suppressed by edict the bagne at Lorient. Further decrees followed, closing the other prisons, and in 1854 a law put an end to this type of punishment. Convicts sentenced to hard labor being transported to French Guiana and New Caledonia until transportation also was abolished in 1946. Bagnige Wells, former London Pleasure Garden in Bagnige Wells Road, as King's Cross Road used to be called. Bagnige House, a central feature, is said to have been a summer residence of Nell Gwyn. The place became fashionable after the discovery here in 1757 of a ferruginous chalybeate well and cathartic well. Later tea gardens, concerts, dancing, etc. became attractions. The last entertainment was given in 1841. Bagpipe, musical folk instrument of considerable antiquity, found in various forms in many parts of the world. It consists of a reed pipe, the chanter, usually a double reed like that of an oboe, furnished with an air reservoir, the bag filled either from the player's mouth by means of a blow tube with a non-return valve or from a small bellows held under and worked by the player's arm. Most varieties of the instrument have other pipes, each capable only of one note, inserted into the bag. These called drones may be either single or double reeds, and they tuned to the keynote and dominant. The Scottish Highland pipe, the most familiar in Britain, has 3 drones, but the number elsewhere varies from 1 as in Poland, Bulgaria, and Spain, up to 6, as in the French Musette. The Italian Zampoña and the Irish Union Pipe have extra holes in the drones and can be used to suggest harmonic changes. Bagratoni Peter Ivanovich Prince, 1765-1812, Russian soldier, who in the Austro-Russian War of 1865 against the French withstood an army of 3,000 under Murat with a force of 50 of that number. He commanded the Second Russian Army of the West in the campaign of 1812 and was fatally wounded in the Battle of Borodino. Baha'i sect claiming to possess in the Baha'i faith or teachings of Baha'u'llah a world religion, a creed of universal applicability based on Shia Islam. It was originally called Babism, from Bab, a gate, an entrance. Babuddin, gate of the faith, was the name adopted by Mirza Ali Muhammad, 1820-50, of Shiraz in the Persia. He announced the coming of a great teacher who would initiate an era of world peace and righteousness. In 1863, Mirza Hussain Ali, 1817-92, declared himself this teacher. He took the name Baha'u'llah, glory of God, and being in exile, wrote what came to be the scriptures of Baha'ism. Living in Persia, he settled with his band of disciples at Akko in Palestine. From this sanctuary, he wrote to the leaders of governments everywhere, urging the unification of law and government and vigorous action to benefit the poor, the oppressed, and the ignorant. When he died, he was succeeded by his eldest son, Abbas Effendi, 1844-1921, who on taking over leadership assumed the name Abdul Baha, servant of Baha or Bahai, later Abdul Baha Abba Bahai, servant of Baha, Lord of Baha. In 1920, he was knighted for his services to the Allied cause in World War I. On his death, he was buried on Mount Carmel, which became the sanctuary of Baha'ism. The Baha'i sect has as basic principles the unity of God and of his prophets, the unity of the human race, the necessity for continuous pursuit of truth, that divine revelation is a continuous stream, everywhere equal in power, and that all service is worship. There is no priesthood, and belief is independent of dogma and ritual. Bahama Channel, old and new, two straits communicating between the Gulf of Mexico and the Atlantic. The old one separates Cuba and the new Florida from the Bahamas. Bahamas